All right, guys, the market has shifted. That is true. However, on this month's episode, I'm gonna break down all the stats for you and show you what's really going on in the month of October and why some of those headlines out there may not be true. Here we go. All right, guys, so the first thing I want to talk about is interest rates. You must be living under a rock if you haven't been following these mortgage rates. I mean, they have skyrocketed from where they were a year ago to normal rates to what we would see as high rates right now. Over the last week of September, we saw interest rates actually get up to about 6.8%. That is significantly more than 1 year ago, actually just over double. That was due to the Fed coming out and increasing the federal rate, but also stop purchasing mortgage-backed bonds. So they've eliminated that, which they started up at the beginning of the COVID crisis. So sure enough, that caused interest rates to spike up to about close to 7%, 6.8%. So what is that doing to our market? Well, of course, it's gonna slow down our market. Of course, it's gonna have buyers kind of maybe back off and stand off on buying right now. However, is that the only thing playing a factor in what's going to control our market? Well, it's the main factor. It really is playing a factor. So as long as these interest rates stay high, we're probably gonna see the same demand that we've had since interest rates got above 5%. Now that demand, everybody might tell you, is a lot less than what we were used to. However, it's really not. When you look back at 2018 and 19, we had very similar demand that we're having now. So just because we're looking year over year stats from a market that was inflated with 2.5 and 3% interest rates to a market that we have now, there's obviously a significant difference. But if you look back a little bit further, the demand we have here in San Diego is actually pretty similar to what we saw a few years ago. So guys, how are these interest rates actually impacting our market? So every single month, as you guys know, I look at our statistics across San Diego County. So first and foremost, buyer demand has diminished. So we're seeing less closed sales. We're actually down 21% compared month over month this time last year, right? Or year over year, sorry, from this time last year. So down 21% for closed sales. Now, inventory has actually increased up 20% year over year. Now, that is because we're seeing less home sale. That makes sense. Now, here's the big kicker, the big stat that I'm seeing is actually new inventory is down. The amount of new homes that are coming onto the market month after month is actually down compared to last year. Now that seems odd, right? And that's something that we all want to keep our eye on, because as of right now, we're actually only at a 1.7 months of inventory in San Diego County right now. Technically, that is still putting us in a seller's market. We need to be up at that 5, 6, 7 month mark or months of inventory to actually be considered a buyer's market. So the big stat we need to keep our eye on is how much new inventory are we getting on the market, and is that buyer demand, those closed sales, staying where they are, which I do predict will probably stay that way because, well, this is San Diego and we're always going to have buyer demand. All right, guys, as you know, I like to give buyer and seller advice every single month. So here's my seller advice for the month of October. You guys, sellers out there, you gotta look at the most recent comps when you're pricing your property. We cannot look back a year, 9 months, even 6 months. We really need to look back about the last 3 to 4.5, 5 months to really give you a good price analysis on your property. The reason for that is because we go from a low interest rate environment to a higher interest rate environment, and that is directly impacting people's affordability. So that could have adjusted your market. We've seen different cities across San Diego County actually depreciate anywhere from maybe 3% in some areas, all the way down to maybe 10 or 12% in other neighborhoods. So you gotta be looking at the most recent comps. For that, you need to call a trusted expert, somebody like myself that's been in this business for quite some time. So there is my advice for all my sellers out there. And as for my buyer advice for the month of October, it's all about the 2-1 buy down. You may have seen me post some videos about this, guys, but the 2-1 buy down is basically you locking in a fixed rate at whatever today's rate is for a 30-year fixed mortgage. However, we're able to negotiate with the seller to get them to give us a credit to apply towards buying down your interest rate 2 full percent the first year and 1% the second year. The reason why we can recommend this to clients right now is because most analysts out there, including Fannie Mae, who just put out the report, is stating that interest rates will be back down in the 5s by next year and then potentially down into the 4s in 2024. So we feel comfortable allowing our clients to do this buy down, knowing hopefully that they'll be making more money in the long run in 2 years from now, but also that they can also refinance 1 or 2 years down the road to lock in hopefully a lower interest rate. So check out the 2-1 buy down if you're looking to purchase in this market. For everything else, guys, if you have any questions at all, I love talking about this stuff. Please reach out to myself or somebody here on the True Local team.